My name's Caroline Python. I'm going to finish recording this. This is sick.
Jews now. They're even going around wearing the hat that Jews wear to pretend to be Jewish, right? So this post here says, breaking. A car full of Palestinians trying to enter Israel illegally to carry out terror attacks against Jews was caught by Israeli soldiers. One of them wore a yarmulke to pretend he was Jewish. I do apologize if I completely butchered this word, but you get the point. They wear that little hat, and look.
מאיפה אתה? מנואס? מאיפה אתה? כן. איפה?
I'll find the percent of the British, innit? That's why they're trying to say. That's how they're trying to get. Say British. They're not British.
Okay, so I have to skip through it because it gets a little, you know. But basically, there was a car full of Muslims. They all got pulled out of the car. They were pretending to be Jews, and they get lined up against this wall. So yeah, I'm not going to show you any more of that, but basically, you get the point, right?
Basically,
and
even
they're
if he was
pretending
born,
to
he's
be
still
other
not
cultures
British.
to invade the West or invade whatever lands they're going into. They don't go in as themselves a lot of the time.
No, they're lying.
Even in Europe, they pretend to be Christians. They go to churches to get their visas and stuff. And it's absolutely
that'll be stopping
insane.
when we chop King
Now,
Charles'
this is
head
actually a cathedral in
All
Helsinki,
these things will stop
okay,
when
in
King
Finland.
Charles' head comes
Take a look
off.
at this.
Well, it won't all stop straight away, but yeah, it will make a big statement and it will start to stop. Then we'll do the Pope, and then we'll go into all the people that have created
Why would
this,
anybody go and stand outside
all basically the monarchies, all the kings and monarchies,
and wave Islamic
and then
flags?
we'll come down to the government.
Now, many people on Twitter are claiming that this is just provocation. They're deliberately doing it to provoke people. And I personally agree. Why would somebody go and fly an Islamic flag outside of a Christian church?
People like
Davey fucking Fatso
Lame,
some form of protest, or
as being an African black person,
right?
And he's on he's on the Islam side. I think he's got that a bit wrong considering the slaughtering the Christian black people in Africa.
I really feel sorry for the next generation. The children
they're not
right
white.
now,
The ones that are in Africa, they're not white.
They deserve a society
like I say, the African black people that are Christians, they're not
what's
white.
Happening is being absolutely.
But they're being slaughtered as well.
Just
taken over. I was going to say, and they've been taken over the whole of Africa.
Assisted by the left. Now look, here's another place.
And I have an African friend, she's just been
an Islamic shop opened. I'll show you the tweet. Islamic shop opens in France.
She's told me
and here's
some
the reaction from the Muslim community in France.
She's had to move to She's told me how bad Africa is, but it's beautiful. It was beautiful, Africa. Yeah,
and remember, we don't hate
in
the
England.
individual people.
Look at this.
But the ideology itself, many have realised and many have claimed it is dangerous.
Some of them are
it's a dangerous ideology to want to separate men and women, to want to bring up people who have to be brainwashed into believing something that is just against science.
Oh, I don't know. They'll brainwash them all. The only way we'll brainwash them
we know,
these
obvious facts that are just wrong in the Quran, such as apparently men producing sperm between the backbone and the ribs. That's clearly false. And if God really wrote the Quran, he wouldn't have got biology wrong, right?
Yeah.
So, here's America, here's New York.
He would have been able to
for a primary school teacher in New York to dress like this, question mark? What do you think? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And remember to share these videos with your friends and family, by the way.
And the Chinese as well, they've been a bit quiet. And I watched something about them, they're a bit dodgy. So staying quiet, the Chinese and the Japanese, they're very quiet and they don't seem to be intervening and helping very much, do they? No, but you get me, they don't seem to be helping.
You see, so we don't hate these people.
Well,
but
the sad thing is we went to war with Japan, and I suppose they fucking hate Russia.
That they actually believe.
But on the old fair square, it's not about no one because they won't be about hating anyone no more.
Now in the
but a bit war. It's about fucking.
We recently saw with the
religion coming all over the fucking world. Oh, here we are. Well, they can do that, mate. Here's one for King Charles. His fucking head. Shabang to his fucking head.
Well, let me put it this way. The policing system needs to be way more on top of these types of people.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we do. Well, we do. Yeah, but we won't need to be. Once we chop King Charles's head off, because these people will leave. Yeah, once King Charles's head comes off, they will start to leave.
Does anyone know? Is this a good thing?
Because they'll realise that it's not intimidating anymore, and it's not going to work.
Because the tweet says the same gesture as Muslims. No difference.
Because the people have risen up and fought back to the king.
If people have picked up on the signs
once the people chop their own king's head off, then people have not really got nowhere to go, then have they? No, they will back down then.
A psychopath, an insane person.
Well, it's a psychopath. Come and help me chop King Charles's head off then. Chop King Charles's fucking head off, 'cause I'm English and you ain't got the balls to fucking do it. You don't have the balls to cut King Charles's head off. No, you fucking don't.
It really does seem that way. I mean,
you don't have no balls to cut King Charles's head off. Let's see if he can do
someone
that.
might have been racist. No.
No.
Handle the situation objectively. This guy is on camera doing stabbing motions
see if
and
you've got the
motions.
balls.
This is not normal behaviour.
To cut King Charles's head off.
This is
Bet they haven't.
the state of the Netherlands right now. Syrians walking through the street with their flags.
No, because the English people are going to get there before you. Thanks. La 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 la
This is
la.
There's no war in Syria now, apparently.
What?
So why are the Syrians filling up the Netherlands?
No.
In fact, that's actually what Radio
That's all I can
Genoa
hear him
said.
say. So
These are Netherlands. The war in Syria is over. They must
Think
return
you like-
home. Europeans must wake up now. What do you
Yeah,
think
well, we
about
must
this?
wake up
You know,
now and
if
cut
people really
King
did
Charles's
come to
head off.
Europe because there was a war,
Thank you.
and the war ends, shouldn't they have to go back
No,
to their
well,
country?
yeah. But we're going to
I
do the
personally
kings
don't
first.
believe we should be accepting any form
And then
of
there will be
immigration
no
right now.
accepting
We
anything.
need to actually
No mercy.
restore Britain.
No mercy.
Because slowly but
There'll be
surely,
no mercy for the kingdom, sorry.
the Muslim community
No
are
mercy
starting
for the
to
king. There
reveal
you are.
their true colours and what they
Here
really
we
believe in.
are. He can say, cut our heads off. Well, I'm cutting King Charles's head off, mate. Why you say you're going to cut King's head off first? Matt, is that King Charles's head? Are you talking about King Charles?
Okay, so just in case you didn't catch that,
Yeah.
basically, the ones
Talking
who
about
actually
King
follow
Charles,
the Quran
yeah.
and
Well,
understand
that's
their
what I
hadiths, they are against the Jews and the Christians. And
Yeah,
not only
so
Jews
that's
and
why
Christians,
King Charles
but
wants to change
anybody
his
who is
religion, you
non-Muslim,
see.
to the
to be
point where they
Muslim,
want to take over the
to be
entire
turned,
world as they
then he
admit it.
can
Now this is
not
scholars,
get his
these
head
are
chopped
imams,
off.
these are not just random Muslims
Yay!
saying this. And the narrative is being completely shattered because they
So
keep
he's
trying
saying
to
he
make
wants
it
to chop
about
King
race.
Charles's
They
head
keep
off,
trying to
isn't
make it
it?
seem as if people are racist
Well, it
if
sounded
they're
like
against
that to me.
Islam, or that it's about black and white people, when really this is about ideology. Now this man here, he
It's not
actually
black and
wrote
white people
the
because they're
narrative
slaughtering
on
them. If
camera.
it's about black and white
As a
people,
black
why
man,
they're
he
slaughtering
showed
the
up
fucking
at
black
the United
Nigerians in
Kingdom
Africa
march,
then?
and I'll just show you a few minutes of it.
Huh?
And he just proved that this has nothing to do with racism.
Why are they
People are not
slaughtering
racist.
the black
They just don't want
Nigerians in
people who believe
Africa, the
in
Muslims?
insane ideologies in
Islams?
their country. Take a look at this.
Go on then, it's about that. I was going to say, mate, oh yeah, I like this guy, yeah, he's mincing this guy. And it's not about that, mate, because they're slaughtering black men in Nigeria, mate. Black little boys in Nigeria, do you know that, mate? They do know that, don't they, the black men from Nigeria? I was going to say, these black people from Nigeria, they do understand that, don't they? And that's not the English that's doing that.
Literally, Tommy Robinson spotting
That's not the
a
white
black
people
man.
doing that.
But what do the
That is
mainstream
not the
media
white
want to show?
people.
What do BBC want to say? Oh, Tommy
And
Robinson's
I've already
racist,
gone through
etc.,
this.
etc.
I'll tell you
Anyway,
now,
you get
I'm
the
not
point. He goes all
saying, I am
throughout
not
the
sticking
rally,
up for the
gets
white,
hugs from people,
the
he gets so much
European
love from
nations,
people.
the
Look, this
slave
is a
trade.
genuine interaction here.
I'm going to say I'm not sticking up for it, mate, but I'll tell you
Nothing
what.
to do with race.
The
People
slavery
just do not
in
want
England
insane
and
ideologies,
Europe
dangerous
was,
people
I was
coming
going
into
to
the
say,
West,
how dare
murdering,
the Africans
raping,
want to call the
condoning
Europeans
murder,
when
and then
we
thinking that
battled
it's,
to save the black Africans from
thinking
being
that it's okay to do
slaughtered
that.
to
It's
death
not.
by the
It's absolutely
Muslims.
sick. I mean, a lot of politicians now in Sweden are waking up.
Child soldiers in Sweden. Sweden, not Africa. Criminal gangs recruit hitmen as young as 12 years old, lured with promises of watches or designer clothes. Dystopian
That people
fiction.
didn't get slaved in England and Europe. The black Africans, of course some of them did.
Decades.
Right.
Social
But the slavery that they came to was a lot less brutal than they were getting. They were getting slaughtered over there.
And personally, I believe
I was going to
that's
say,
where
the
people are
slavery
going
they
wrong
got
in
over
Europe.
here
They keep saying
was more
integration.
like you've got to
But
be
if somebody
basically.
truly wants
Probably
what
back in the
Islam
day, we
wants,
try to think,
they're
you
not
know, with a
going to
kitchen,
integrate. They're going
Please, could be,
to
I was
just
going to say it's going to
assimilate
be
in their own
flawed for a rich
communities,
bastard.
and then they're going to set
I
up
get
little
it.
enclaves,
I
like
mean,
you
I
see
get
happening
that.
across
No,
Europe.
that
You see in
should be
America
right.
now, in Michigan,
But I was going
in
to
New
say,
York City now as
and I'm
well,
not saying
Texas
some
in various
slaves
areas,
didn't
and then
get
they're just going to keep
treated
trying to expand those areas.
really
You see it
cruelly
in
by
London,
our people
Tower
as well.
Hamlets, you know,
I'm not
Whitechapel,
saying not
etc., etc.
all, you know what I mean?
In Europe,
There was
you're
some that
not
got treated
immune.
cruelty,
Sweden
badly.
is the canary in the
But
coal mine.
considering to
Follow
what
the
the
same
Muslims in
policies,
Saudi Arabia
get
and
the
the rest
same
of them
result.
countries have done to
Children
Africa,
murdering
there's nowhere
children.
near as what the
But
English
now
people and
the
that have
Sweden
done to
Democrats and our
Africa.
partners
Nah,
are restoring law and
that
order.
is
Gang
light,
crimes,
very,
double
very
sentences,
light.
violent young
I'm not
offenders,
sitting here and
tougher
saying
penalties.
it's not
A
right
child
when you did the
assassin
right things
is
and
still
everything in
an
it.
assassin. And
And
why
there wasn't things
does
that
the
did go
left
wrong and
want
they,
killers
but that wasn't
on our streets?
quite awful.
Now, that's a brilliant
brutal. I'm
question.
going to
Why
say,
does
mate,
the
I'm
left
not,
want
you
killers
know,
on our street? Does
well, I
anybody
was
actually
born
know
then,
the
you weren't
answer to
born,
this
none of us
question?
were born this, we
Why
don't
does the
know the whole
left
truth.
continually facilitate
Yeah,
the destruction of the Western world?
yeah.
What is the purpose for it?
And I think the black
You know,
Africans
in,
need to work and
Germany,
with the
The
white
police
people as well.
have taken a no
And
mercy
stop saying
approach
for
now,
just black
just
people
because they've
because
had
they're
enough
black to
of
be
Muslims
slaughtered in
protesting on the
Africa.
streets continually.
And it isn't by the white people. And it has never been by the white people. The white people have never slaughtered the black people in Africa. No. They might have killed a few people, a couple of 100 people here or there. I'm not disputing that. But, come on, man. Look at to what they are doing in Africa. Well, yeah, look at what they are doing in Africa.
They've just genuinely had enough. And I do want to address this. Where's that comment gone? Somebody said they wonder what Greta thinks about this. Well, anyway, whoever it was that said that, the thing is, they will never comment on these things. The left won't comment on Islam unless it is brought to the surface in such a way that the Overton window is moved and people feel comfortable to talk about it. And that is why this type of media is so important. Everybody out there who's exposing these things, because it's helping to move the Overton window. We've actually seen the independent journalists. We've played such a huge part in this battle that now politicians are using the language that we actually started using first. You'll see the politicians calling it an ideology, taking away the title of religion, and calling them sects or cults, because they are. And this is just an objective fact. This is what many scholars and university professors have come to the conclusion of. It's not just random people on the internet. Now, I wanted to show you this because this story is very sad, but it's a very, very good wake-up call for the left. Isaac posted it, and he said, "Terrifying. A woman in Turkey was forced to marry the man who raped her. He then raped her 4-year-old daughter, and the court dismissed the case. She began to protest and demanded justice. After that, both she and her daughter were found dead." And he goes on to say that this is Islam.
See, that could happen to my little girl because it's pedo services that got my little girl. And I never remember Turkey and Muslim month. They took over Turkey as well.
This is the culture that we're
going to
importing
say, mate,
to the
they
West.
took over Turkey as well. So the Turks are going to have to rise as well, mate.
We're not against the
well, the
individual
Turkish
Muslim
people, the
the
ones
women,
that are
the
like
children.
proper Turkish
We are
people, are
actually
going to
trying
have to
to
rise
help them
up.
because we see what
Mix
is
them with
actually
the Greeks
taking
and the
place.
Italians.
A group of people
And then
are
the Spanish.
brainwashed. There's something wrong. There's something not
we have
right
to join with
about
the French
believing
and the
that
Germans
if
and
you,
the Swedes and the Finland.
kill yourself, for example,
Do you know what I mean?
that
We
you're
have to,
apparently going to
we're
go
going
to
to have
heaven
to
and get
get
rewarded
joining
for it.
it.
This is
Joining back.
that's mental. That's
We're
absolutely
going to go
insane.
back to the
We're
map to
seeing
where
the
they
women
originally
who have covered
were.
themselves from head to toe when they're like
Join the country
7, 8,
back
9
to
years
they
old, 10 years
originally
old.
were in the first
There's something
place.
very wrong there. Why are they being covered? Even adult women, there's something wrong there. And it's not hateful. It's just a fact. And that's why it's so important to keep speaking about this, because it's helping people realise that we don't hate people. We love people, and we want people to
why
wake
would I
up.
hate
We want
to watch
the
that
world to
lady
be
crying
safe.
like
We want it
that?
to
You
be
know
peaceful.
that.
We don't want churches
So why would I
continuing to
hate
burn
that?
down
Why would
in
it
the
not
Western
feel
world.
like, what type of person would that make me be? I mean, just because I'm saying King Charles' head needs to, we're going to chop King
There's a
Charles'
pattern
head
that
off,
we
and
keep seeing. We keep seeing that
persistent.
wherever the
I'm
Islamists
persistent,
go,
and that
churches burn down,
persistentness needs to be done.
shrines burn down,
And I have
Hindu
no
temples burn down, Sikh temple
fucking
burned down.
qualm
How comes
or feeling
wherever
bad
Islamists go, in
or
Japan, for
feeling
example,
any
all of
guilt
the
to
Japanese,
say it or do it.
what are they called, the Japanese shrines just
I will
getting
have
burned
no
down.
guilt and no
Clearly there's a pattern
fucking.
here, and we
No,
shouldn't
I'm
be ignorant
sorry.
to patterns.
No, I will not
You know?
have no.
Here's a
I'm
good
doing
take
no
from,
mercy
Neo
after
Bird.
what
She
he's done
says,
to the country
Keir
and the
Starmer
people
refuses to ban
of
ceremonial
Europe
knives.
and our own country.
He will,
this
however,
country.
ban your 15-year-old from logging onto X. Make it make sense.
Make you make sense, innit?
This
Make
is the
him
danger
make
of having
sense.
these types of people
And
running
then,
your country.
Well,
is
he's going
they
to have
just
his
don't
head
make
chopped
sense.
off as well.
They're
at
backwards.
some
There's
point.
something very
Well, yeah.
wrong with the way they
But
think.
the thing is, it's about
And it's
religion now,
actually
so
such a
it's
weak
making it about
mentality
religion now,
and
not
such a
about the
destructive
fucking government.
mentality that it
So,
facilitates
King Charles
evil,
has sold us
even
down
if it
over
doesn't
to
mean to.
Islam.
Whereas, you know,
Jihad
I would personally
with
say
them
he
all.
probably do need to,
So
but
we're
that's
starting
just my perspective, that's my point of view right now.
Well, that's my
Maybe it's
point of view
objective,
right
maybe
now,
it's not.
and that's
But what do
exactly
you
what
think?
needs to happen. It's
Personally,
not
I
the
believe
point
the
of view,
left
it's
are very
exactly
evil.
what's needed.
Now, these are scenes from Spain,
It's
by
the
the way.
only way.
Look how many Spanish people have come out.
Good.
Christians, Spanish Christians,
Good.
by the way,
I
have
know
come out
it's
to
about
just
some
celebrate their actual culture, to celebrate freedom, to sing, to be grateful, right? Absolutely beautiful. This is our culture. This is what we want preserved. Whether you're religious or not, whether you believe in God or not, this is the culture we want. This is the preservation that we want. This is the world that we want our children to grow up in. A peaceful world, a free world, where women can be free, children can be free, men don't get taught to humiliate and subjugate their women.
So
that's not the type of world that we want. Now, this here is something that's very questionable. Because when you look at the left, and you look at the infiltration of Islamists in weak left-wing parties, such as the Green Party, and then you follow the money, you see something very strange.
Yeah.
Take a look at
I always
this.
say that for the money, Palestine, King Charles.
My name is Martin Ali. I'm the Green Party councillor for Gibson and Hare Hills. And we're out here today handing out food parcels.
No, you shouldn't be anything in our country,
We're trying to give a little bit of love back to the community.
No, you're
so
not.
anyone who's struggling a little bit and needs a little bit of a helping hand is welcome to come down. No questions are asked. We're going to hand out free food. We've got chicken biryani on the menu, so something nice for people to eat.
No, that
Okay, you get the point. But this is the point I want to show you, right? Remember what the Bible says. The devil masquerades as an angel of light. And we shouldn't be surprised because his children do the same thing. In other words, they mask around trying to be righteous, saying, look at me, look what I'm doing, I'm helping, I'm doing this. But let's look at what is the underbelly of this insanity. Exclusive senior executives at Islamic charity privately warned that 350,000 aid to Gaza very likely to have helped fund Hamas and other terror groups. So these fundraisers that they do, these charities that they set up, the money is funneling into Hamas, according to this report here. Senior executives at one of Britain's biggest Islamic charities privately warned that aid money they had sent to Gaza ended up very likely in the hands of Hamas and other terrorist groups. The Mail on Sunday can reveal.
Like I've said
So
before,
all of this money, all of these charities, all these Islamic charities that we see set up, and they're sending money to Gaza. Do you really think that that money's going to the civilians there?
That's been
Or do you
taken
think it's
over
going
by
to the terrorists there? Just use your mind. If they're controlling the area, you know, and they're trying to Islamize absolutely everything at this point. And now they have a Muslim-only tech thing.
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Arfa Farouk, and I'm one of the founders of Muslim Tech Fest.
Mohammed. Well, King Charles pretending to be Mohammed.
Could you imagine if you had Christian Tech Fest and only Christians could go there? They'd be like, oh, bigotry, Islamophobia.
Muslim Tech Fest is an event that we do every year to celebrate Muslim tech excellence. We bring people together from pretty much all around.
Anyway, you get the point, right? So it's just they're trying to Islamize almost everything at this point, it seems. At least that's how it's coming across to many of us who have our finger on the pulse with these things. Now, here's a post from Tommy. He says, the US Secretary of War sent a stark warning to Europe in his D-Day speech. America has shown more concern for Europe this week alone than all of those in power across our continent. It's a very powerful speech. I want to show you it.
Because the weak was like America will he sold us down the road to Islam.
And we must.
He's weak.
But capable allies must be right there with us.
He's murdered.
Shoulder to shoulder.
They've got blood on their hands. So
in the breach. When it matters.
In
the years since these beaches, much of the West, in some places, in some quarters, and in some capitals, grew comfortable. We forgot that freedom is not free.
Freedom is not free.
We forgot that peace is not wished into being. It is bought with purpose, with honor, and with strength.
Yep.
The men who landed on these beaches knew this. the question we ask ourselves is,
He's a terrible devil.
It's past time we remember what they knew. Their legacy demands far more than quiet reflection. It requires our active vigilance.
I'm not all of American things, but
sadly, today,
Donald Trump,
different European beaches are stormed by different dangerous ideologies.
He's South African, isn't he? African.
There it is again, the key word, ideologies. And this is so beautiful that we're seeing this now. I'm so happy that we're seeing this now.
And I'm happy, mate, with these people saying this.
In Spain, in
My
Italy,
granddad
Greece,
didn't have a problem with him
Bulgaria,
saying this. And my granddad's winning all the wars.
And men arrive.
I'm going to say, mate, my granddad's...
When will European capitals do something about that
all the wars.
invasion?
And they're saying happy for you to say that, so I don't know what
pray not,
saying.
and I believe not. The men who fought and died here restored freedom to Europe. That freedom must be maintained by this generation of leaders and warfighters. Or what they fought for
because
is merely temporary.
Gonna do with him.
As our great president Ronald Reagan once said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You don't pass it to the next generation in the bloodstream. It must be defended by each and every generation.
Well, the people that
we stand by our allies.
To do with Epstein
and we expect our allies capable and ready to stand alongside us.
Because he's a
the
devil.
Heroes of 1944.
He's not a nice man, yeah, and he's kind of a devil.
And
so he's coming for Keir Starmer.
Yes, exactly. And it's very sad because, you know, my ancestors fought in those wars. I'm sure many of your ancestors fought in those wars for the freedoms that we enjoy today. And that is why I'm so passionate about exposing these things, the works of darkness that is trying to infiltrate our political systems, education systems, and entire way of life. Because it's ultimately a spit in the face of those who died for our freedom.
The royal family never fought in any war.
It's a
King Charles has never fought in any war.
On love, on joy. And then the enemy twists what we say and tries to make it seem as if we are the hateful ones. When we are the ones who want to live in a peaceful, prosperous society, away from evil, away from sickness, away from disease, and mentalities that are destructive and vile. So that's why we have to continually unite. Now there's this lady, right? Her name's Amy Meck, and she actually was able to have a speech.
Well, we do need to unite. That's why we're trying to unite the countries back together.
I'm not sure who she's... Oh, Congress, actually. She spoke in front of Congress. And take a look at what she had to say. I won't play the whole thing here right now. Because I'm going to upload this as a video later on, an individual video to my channel, so you can go and watch this later anyway in full on my channel. But I want to show you the beginning. Because she is very, very correct about how she speaks about this.
Distinguished members of Congress, my name is Amy Beckelberg. I'm founder of Rare Foundation
Cyprus
USA.
people,
I come before you today out of profound love for this country and great personal cause. For 15 years, I've documented Islam's assault on Europe and its dangerous advance inside of America.
So they need to come together as countries with the people and try and go into one country, maybe Italy, all pirates to Italy, all the people from Greece and Spain. Well, we can't save every country all at once, we can't do it, it's not going to be done all at once, there's not enough of us, and making not enough of us, more of them. So we need to basically, I'm going to say, we need to make, at some point in one country, in some countries, we need to make more of us and less of them to get there. And the only way we can do that is piling, like I'm saying, right, the Spanish, the Italians, the Spanish, the Greeks, the...
yeah, may he rest in peace.
I don't know about the Turks, because the Turks are very young.
For those of you who don't know,
I mean, that lady there from Turkey, I don't know, because it's very weird with Turkey at the moment.
What it had done to his homeland.
It's got to be the proper Turks, the original Turkey people. It's got to be people. I was going to say they've got to have ancestry from Turkey going to join with the Greece side.
For telling the truth about the threat that killed him.
Italy, Greece,
Spain,
all the Spaniards and the Greeks. You can't save Greece, you can't save every country at the same time. We're going to have to basically join, I'd say, all them people from them side go to Italy, go and take, because we need to take these other people out. All I've got to say is we need to make more of us than there is of them at some point to get them to overtake that. So all the people from Italy and whatever, all the people from Greece and Spain need to go to Italy. all the
submit,
people from
or
France,
die.
Germany,
It does not
Finland
stop
and
until every
Sweden
court, every school, and
and
every
this side
government on
of
earth is under
England
Sharia.
need to come to
The
England
Muslim
because we
Brotherhood
need to
turned
ship
this
some people
imperative
to
into a
Ireland.
modern conquest
We need to
strategy.
ship quite a few people
Two
to Ireland
seized
to get them out
documents,
of Ireland,
the
to get them out of
1982
Ireland.
project and the 1991
Yep.
explanatory
And we need to make,
memorandum
well,
detail their
basically that's how we're going to have to
two-front
make our numbers back up.
Okay, so I'll upload
I'm
this
going
as
to
a
say,
full
mate,
video to
how
my
do we
channel
take,
later on,
how do we make
and
more
I'll give more
numbers now
context to
than
her
them?
and
Because
her
they've got
story
more
and some of
numbers than
Mamika
us.
as well.
They've been
But,
lying
you
saying
know,
they've got,
here's a
we've
little
got
thing
more numbers.
more
No,
light-hearted
don't
to
take
show
it for
you.
the lie.
Maybe this is why
Yeah.
we're in the predicament we are in the Western world, because pedestrians are now stopping at red lights. They actually stopped at the red light and then walked when it went green. But yeah, all jokes aside,
What's that about?
I do believe that there's an issue with IQ and just comprehension skills in the Western world, and that is why people have been so easily manipulated and brainwashed.
Well, I'm not.
So we have to wake people up. We have to educate people. We have to show people what is taking place
I've been
in a
awake for a
simple
long
and
time.
easy to understand way.
And I've been
So if
waiting
you
for
do
the
feel
right
led to share
moment to
these
get
videos, if you're not
channels.
already subscribed,
And I've
subscribe,
got
hit the thumbs up button. Greatly helps out the
Thanks.
channel. It's free for you to do.
And
Yeah, I did have some other clips that I was going to show you, but you know what? I'll save those
and the
for
Pope
next time.
start digging.
For now, I
Start
want to
doing
actually
videos
give you
like
an
King
announcement.
Charles will.
I finished my website. So, I worked a long time on
And
this.
the
This is why I
Pope,
haven't been
because we
live
need
for
to
the
get it
last 4 or 5. Well, I've been live, but they've been very short or on and off because I've been working heavily on my website. Definitely go check it out. I also created a Bible trivia game.
We need to get videos on.
There is a
they're trying to
leaderboard,
ban
which
these
I'm going to update
people.
and
Well,
stuff. It's
we're
not
going to have to
currently
get them
an
in
online
illegal. We'll
leaderboard. It's
smuggle
just,
them in then.
you know,
We'll smuggle the
I'll
French
just show
and
your
the
scores
Germans.
for
They've
now.
got to be
But
German,
you
French,
can look at your
Swedish,
character, you can look at
and Finland.
your things and all that. You can, you know, answer questions.
Polish,
You get it wrong, that
they probably
happens.
need to stay in Poland.
You know,
to
if
deal
you get
with
something
the
right,
Hungarians,
just
they need to
get
stay
one
there
right
so
so I
we can
can
deal with that
spam
part
through this quickly.
and stop any of them
I
going
should
into
really
their
just
parts.
play,
We're
shouldn't
going
I,
to
and
say
show
they
you
need
that I
their
actually know
people
what
to
I'm
stay
talking about. But
there.
anyway, you get
And we need the
you
people
get
from
points, you get
Europe to
coins.
come
It's
here.
pretty fun. So go check that out.
Because
I'm in
we
the
can't
process of
save
moving
every
home as
country
well.
at one
So
go. It's
if
not
you
going
do
to
feel
work.
led to support, I do have a support option
It's going to
on the
work with
homepage of
joining
my
the
channel.
forces together.
It's been a very stressful time. I'm not going to lie.
I'm
It's been
going
a
to
very,
say
very
it's going
stressful
to
time
work
having
with
to leave
joining the
home
forces
so many
together.
times. But it is what it is.
The people together. It's not the four of
yeah.
them. It's not the
Hope you all have a
government,
beautiful
but
day.
the people.
May God
The
bless you
people.
all. And I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.
I mean, I would go
Shalom.
to Germany and we'd go to France, but there's not enough of. I don't think there's enough English people to even to take over the amount of people that they've put into France and Germany. In England, not enough English people to do that. Because Germany and France take over England 3 or 4 times. Think about the size of France and Germany to England and Ireland and all of Europe, well, all of Britain. So what I'm trying to say is we need to get the people, we need to get them, there's thousands of them. It doesn't matter. We'll discuss for a little bit, but you know, because we want these out of the hotels, we need to put these people into the hotels, the French and the Germans and the Finland, Swedens and the Finland, people like that, because they are now homeless for a minute or two. They are now classed as refugees themselves. And if we don't do what I'm saying, we're going to be all classed as refugees. We're going to be classed as refugees right from Europe, right round Europe. At some point. Or it's just going to, this is going to end in blood, in very much blood. It's going to be so much blood of all this. And, yeah. We can prevent some things, I reckon, but we're not going to prevent lots of blood things going on, I don't think, but we can prevent some things. And basically, if we come together and the people come from France, Germans, all Germans, like they've invaded us before anyway, so it's not an invasion. This is because now the French, the Germans, the Swedens, and the from Finland, all these countries here that are all being, like Brussels and everywhere, that have now been burnt down to smithereens and this footnotes. I mean, there's worse than what's going on here. Yeah, they're now fleeing the war. So they're now refugees. They're classed as the refugees now to England. And they're our neighbours. Well, France, Germany, Finland, Sweden, they're classed as our neighbours. Like you say, you know what I mean? They're not our neighbours, but they're over the water, so they're classed as our neighbours. And we know about Brexit, right? And that will all have to get redone once this is all done. Everything's going to have to get rebuilt and done for each country, France, Germany, England. It's all going to have to be redone. I don't know about that, how that's going to work yet. That's not, how can we plan that far ahead? We can't plan that far ahead, just plan now. We need to hurry up, the Europeans, and plan now. The plan is to be, I'm saying, is all the Germans, all the French, all the able, well, bring who they can. Bring even your disabled people, because we need to be looking after them people as well. They can't stay there because they could die there, so we need to bring all the people that they can. And basically the homes, that whatever hotels, they're gonna have to move all the other illegal immigrants to put these people in hotels, because they've been lying. So we're gonna have to, people will have to, you know, like you're saying, like people like me, I have one spare room, so I can give one person a spare room, especially a female. I could give her a spare room or whatever. I don't know, but that's what I think is gonna have to happen. They all come to this country, because then we can, with the amount of French and Germans and the Finlands and Sweden and the English and then the Irish together, the Scottish and all of us together, that will overtake, we will then be the more people, and that will overtake them again. And then we can push them out slowly. These people will start to push out. Do you get me? We can start to push them out slowly. And we will have to push them back to France and Germany. That's why they need to come here, because we're going to have to push them to France and Germany. Then when we've sorted this country out, then we need to move from this country, the people, to fucking Germany and France slowly, and carry on until we get Europe back. It's the only way we're going to do it, and keep pushing them back. Going to use one place. Well, Italy is going to be probably, I'm going to say, the place where they need to, the Spanish and the Greeks and the Cyprus people, Malta and everywhere like that, need to go and join the Italians and basically flood as many people as there is of them. There's more Italians and Greeks and the Europeans of that side together. There's more than of us, the side of Germany and things together. Yeah. Well, the French, they stay down south, and the people from Germany and stuff usually come up this way, up north, and to Ireland. Because they were sending quite a few French, well, a few Germans and Finlands and Swedens to Ireland. Well, yeah, we have to send quite a few thousands like they've been doing. And keep pushing back, and then we chop the King Charles's head off. No, shall we? No.
We have had a Yemen terrorist living at that base. There's no way anyone in the world can convince me that Great Britain, the United Kingdom, cannot stop Mohammed with a boat. They also have had drugs in the base. They do drugs in the base, and they get drunk in the base. We have art therapy.
And then they can't drink in the religion.
And this is paid for out of taxpayers' money. Wait, sorry, heart therapy or art? Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, truth seekers, digital warriors, welcome back to the show.
They're paying for it all, yeah, and we have to push back. We get you. But what, you're going to give us an idea on how to push back anybody? Well, if it gives people talking, but they're not giving us any ideas.
3 weeks ago, I stood in the members' lobby of the House of Commons and watched a colleague, a good man, a man who had served his constituency faithfully for 11 years, walk out of a meeting with the Chief Whip and say nothing, just walk past me, eyes forward. I knew what had happened in that room. I have been in enough of those rooms to know he had been told to be quiet, told that raising the issue, he had been raising the issue his constituents had been writing to him about for months, was not helpful to the party, not helpful to the narrative, not helpful to the management of a government that is far more frightened of honest conversation than it will ever publicly admit. That moment stayed with me because it was not unusual. That is the problem. It was entirely depressingly ordinary. And it is that ordinariness, the quiet, daily suppression of inconvenient truth inside the institutions that are supposed to serve this country, that is the subject of what I need to tell you today. Subscribe. Not because I am asking you to be part of an audience, but because what this channel is trying to do, hold power to account without flinching, without managing, without the self-censorship that has infected every corridor of Westminster matters. And it only continues if you stay part of it. Let me tell you what I have seen, not what I have read, not what I have been briefed, what I have personally witnessed in the 2 years since I entered Parliament, because that distinction between what politicians tell you they know and what they have actually looked at with their own eyes is one of the most important distinctions in British public life, and almost nobody draws it. The first thing I saw, and this took me by surprise, which tells you something about my own naivety, was the gap between what ministers say in the chamber and what they say in the corridor 30 seconds later. I have sat in the House of Commons and listened to a cabinet minister deliver statistics about small boat crossings with the calm authority of someone who has complete confidence in what they are saying. Then I have passed that same minister in the corridor and heard them, in a different register entirely, acknowledge to a colleague that the situation is, and I am using their word, unmanageable. That is what a serving minister of the British Crown said about the government's flagship policy commitment, the commitment on which a general election was substantially fought and won in a private corridor conversation, while the official position being communicated to Parliament and to the public remained one of cautious optimism and managed expectation. That is not a policy failure, that is a deliberate act of deception. And the British people deserve to know it is happening. Now let us talk about what this means for your family, because that is not an abstraction, that is the point. When a government knows that its immigration policy is unmanageable and tells you it is being managed, the consequences land somewhere real. They land in the housing queue that is now longer than it has ever been in the post-war period. They land in the GP surgery, where the average wait for a non-urgent appointment in parts of the Midlands and the North is now running at 3 to 4 weeks. They land in the primary school classroom, where a teacher in Birmingham told me last year that she is teaching a class of 31 children, 11 of whom arrived within the last 18 months, and 3 of whom have no meaningful English. Not because immigration is inherently a problem, it is not, but because the scale and pace of it, when a government refuses to be honest about what is actually happening, makes planning impossible, makes provision impossible, makes the kind of ordered, funded, humane integration that everyone claims to want genuinely impossible. I am going to give you numbers now, because I find that when people in my position give numbers, they are dismissed as dry or political. They are not dry. Behind every one of these numbers is a family.
I have a better idea.
Behind every percentage point is a life being lived in conditions that the people responsible for those conditions would not accept for a single day of their own lives. Net migration to the United Kingdom in the year to June 2023 was 672,000 people. The year before that, it was 745,000. The government's own stated ambition, the commitment made to the British public, the explicit promise on which votes were cast, and a mandate claimed
if they say that, I double the figure. Every time they say it, double it.
That commitment was made by the previous government. It has been abandoned in practice, if not entirely in language, by this one.
That's the figure it is.
672,000 people in a single year into a country that is not building enough houses, not training enough doctors, not funding enough school places, not expanding its infrastructure at anything approaching the rate required to absorb that level of population change without serious compounding strain on every public service that ordinary families depend on. That is not a warning about what might happen. That is a description of what is already happening in your town, in your city, in your child's school and your parents' hospital ward and the rental market that your grown-up children are trying to navigate on wages that have not kept pace with costs for the better part of 15 years.
But like I was going to say, there's not enough of us because they know that now.
And I want to be precise about this because I think the imprecision in how this is usually discussed is itself part of the problem.
I hope you know this. I know what he's saying, but I hope Rupert Lowe, I don't know if I say Rupert Lowe, but I hope Rupert Lowe really knows now. I do. This has been going since after the war, Second World War. It might have been a bit before the First World War, but I think all the treaties or whatever's been put in place has been put in place after the Second World War. And slowly, it was for them, the ideas of migration and different things for people who, you know, but slowly it's all been changed, and like Chinese whispers all been changed and different things like the fucking Bible, which me personally, I'm not really ever read the Bible that much. I don't really know into the in-depth of the own Bible or a Quran. I don't want to know really. I'm not a religious person. Doesn't mean I don't believe in God. Of course I believe in God and Jesus, of course that. But like you're saying, I mean, if these people are taking it so serious of when the Bible and the Bible's made before that, I suppose, and if they're taking it that serious back to them days of originating it, and it's been taken out of context because even the original ones ain't what it is now. It's nothing the way it is now. I mean, maybe they have carried it on, and this has been a 100-year plan. And I think, I don't know, the Second World War, I was thinking about 80 years ago, isn't it now? Is it 80 years ago? Something, is it D-Day, the Second World War classes? Like, you know, 80 years ago. So now we're got 20 years left, I think, into the making of this. I reckon, or something like this. Must be 20 years left and in the making of it, or something. So we're not long left. And, I don't know, I mean, they've literally nearly accomplished what they want. They've near enough finished what they want, near enough. They're not far off, they're still throwing a lot more illegals into the country because they want to outrun us. They want to outrun the amount of people, the native people there is. Yeah, they want to make 5 of these fucking rape things to one woman. They're making 5, look, there's that family, there's fucking hundreds of them and no white person there. It wasn't, if they were someone like me, I'd probably have been stabbed to death as well, probably. You know, by going trying helping him. You know, if there was a white person there, every white person had gone trying helping him. You get there, probably would have put my own life at risk. I'd have to end up running or something. Because I couldn't watch that and let him die like that. It's just not, for a white person, an English Christian person like saying, I couldn't let somebody die we can't let people die like that. That's just not allowed. But for them to try and think that it's okay for them to say that they're going to chop the Pope's head off and things. Right, well that's okay. So I'll tell you what, Sadiq Khan, you won't get there first. The English people are going to get to chop King Charles's head off before any jihad or Sikh or any Muslim. The white English people like myself. And I'm not afraid of saying it. Do one. Fuck off. Because I'm not scared of chopping King Charles's head off. I don't see it as fear. I don't see murder. I don't see it's evil. I don't see it's violence. I see it's exactly what's right. And exactly what's been in the Bible. And the king's heads have been chopped off before a couple of times in England and probably around the world. So therefore, it's not unheard of. like they're saying.
Is not the numbers alone. It is the dishonesty about the numbers. It is the combination of a policy that the government privately acknowledges is not working with a public posture of competence
but
and
they don't
control.
care about the public, mate.
That combination, scale plus dishonesty, is genuinely dangerous. Not in an abstract political science textbook sense. Dangerous in the specific practical sense that when people eventually discover, and they always eventually discover, that they have been systematically misled about something that directly affects their daily lives, the consequences for public trust are severe and lasting. I have watched this happen before in a different context, at a different speed. I watched it happen with the financial crisis of 2008, when the assurances given to ordinary savers and mortgage holders by institutions that knew perfectly well what was coming turned out to be precisely as worthless as the assets underlying them. The anger that followed the long, cold, structural anger that reshaped British politics over the subsequent decade was not primarily about money. It was about deception, about the experience of being told by people in authority that everything was fine, while those same people in authority were privately aware that everything was not fine. What is happening now in British politics, this quiet, daily management of inconvenient reality, carries the same structure, the same architecture of official reassurance over private acknowledgement of failure. And if the pattern holds, the political consequences will follow the same trajectory. Slow at first, then sudden.
Because they've got armed
I
guards
need
there,
to
that's why.
talk about energy.
And then you've
Because
got
of
that
everything
one,
I have seen and heard in my time in Parliament, it is the issue that keeps me
And
awake
then
at
Dunbar
night,
is,
in a way that even immigration, even the small boats, even the slow collapse of GP services does not quite replicate. Britain's energy security is in a condition that no minister will describe honestly to the public. We have committed to a net zero transition
they're doing it,
on
and
a
they're all
timeline
the
that our
island,
grid
they will all go.
infrastructure cannot currently
They can all
support.
go with all the
We have
lovely
closed
paychecks,
coal
if they'll
capacity
all
that
be
we have
alright.
not replaced
While we
with
die with the
reliable
fucking
baseload
plague,
generation.
like they did back then.
We are dependent on
We died with the
interconnectors,
plague,
on
and
electricity imported from France and Norway and Belgium for a meaningful proportion of our power on the coldest, darkest days of winter, when those same countries have their own peak demand to manage. Our strategic gas storage capacity, once one of the largest in Europe, was sold off and has never been adequately replaced. I am not an opponent of the energy transition. That is important to say clearly. The long-term case for renewable energy is sound. But the gap between the destination and the current reality, the gap through which British families are paying energy bills that are consuming an average of 9 to 10% of household income for the bottom 2 quintiles of earners, that gap is a consequence of policy decisions made without honesty about the costs, the timelines, and the risks. Decisions made by governments of both parties over 15 years, announced with ambition and managed with something considerably short of it. A family in the northeast of England spending over £2,000 a year on energy in a house that they cannot afford to insulate properly, because the insulation schemes that were announced with such fanfare have delivered a fraction of what was promised. That family is not a statistic. That family is the human cost of a political culture that has learned to make commitments it cannot keep and to describe failures as progress. To every family watching this, and I mean every family, regardless of how you have voted, regardless of what you think of politicians in general or of me in particular, I want to say something without qualification and without the usual hedging that passes for honesty in Westminster. You are not wrong about what you see around you. The sense that things are harder than they should be, that the promises made to you have not been kept, that the institutions that are supposed to work for you have somewhere along the way begun to work primarily for themselves. That sense is not paranoia. It is not far right. It is not unsophisticated. It is an accurate reading of a political reality that the people responsible for it are working very hard to prevent you from seeing clearly. You deserve a government that tells you the truth about energy costs before it announces a transition.
In Europe, Europeans like the Germans, the French, and the Swedes,
that tells you the truth
people
about
from Finland,
NHS
Sweden and
capacity
Finland.
before it
They need
sets
to come to
waiting
here.
time targets. It has no realistic mechanism for meeting. You deserve politicians who say in public what they say in private, who treat the gap between those two things not as a management technique, but as a form of theft, a theft of your right to make informed decisions about who governs you and how. That is not a radical position. It is the most basic thing you can ask of a democracy. And the fact that it currently reads as radical is itself the most precise measure available of how far we have drifted from. I founded Restore Britain because I believe that the alternative to what I have described is not inevitable. That the managed dishonesty, the gap between private knowledge and public statement, the political culture that has learned to treat the British people as a problem to be handled rather than a country to be served, none of that is baked in, none of it is structural in the way that gravity is structural. It is a choice repeated daily by people who have concluded that honesty is too expensive and that the public will not notice or will not care. They are wrong about both. You notice and you care. I know this because of the messages that come into this channel every single week
All the white people
from nurses who voted Labour and cannot recognise what they voted for.
Well, all the right
From
people
small business owners who believed the promises about cutting red tape and are drowning in it. From parents who moved their families to the suburbs for better schools and are watching those schools strain under pressures that no one in government is willing to name honestly. Those messages are not from extremists. They are from the mainstream of British life. And the mainstream of British life deserves to be spoken to honestly by the people who ask for its trust and its votes. The warning I'm issuing today is not about one policy or one party or one figure. It is about a pattern in which the distance between what is said and what is known keeps growing, in which the management of perception has become the primary skill valued in public life at the direct expense of the management of reality, in which the families who are living with the consequences of decisions made in rooms they were never invited into are told consistently and across every platform available that their concerns are either exaggerated or dangerous or both. That pattern ends one of two ways. Either the people inside the system find the courage to break it, to say in public what they say in private, to close the gap between knowledge and statement, to govern as though the people being governed are adults who can handle truth, or the people outside the system, the families I am talking to right now, will close it for them. History is very clear about which of those two outcomes is less disruptive. And history is equally clear about what happens when the people in a position to choose the first option keep choosing not to. Britain is not out of time, but the clock is running. And the families who will live with the consequences of what is decided in the next few years deserve to know clearly and without management exactly what is at stake. Subscribe, stay with us. Because this conversation is not finished. It is barely begun.
Oh my God.
If the UK is not safe, within the next 5 years, this country is done. The Islamic Republic has been funding through Qatari funds, you're hijacking your institutions. I was outside debating with students, and they are all radicalized. They are pro-Islamic Republic, pro-Hamas. How has this happened? This has happened like Qatari funded institutions that indoctrinate your children. These same children are going to be decision makers in 10, 20, 30 years' time. And they're going to literally hand your country to Islamists.
Iran has seized control of the world's most important shipping lane for global oil supplies.
The regime claims it will set on fire any ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The Islamic dictatorship has pursued.
It's already been done, that's 3 months ago, I say. It's already been done. We're going, it's already done.
Hello there. Now it's alleged that the Hampshire and Isle of Wight police Hello there. Now it's alleged that the Hampshire and Isle of Wight police tried to control the narrative around the Novak murder before the trial had even started.
Not surprised then.